Hello guys and welcome back to a new tutorial. This will be an exterior architecture visualization, done with Blender 2.82, and Cycles Render Engine, a step-by-step tutorial for beginners and intermediate. In the end of this tutorial you will learn how to model, add lighting, materials and render full exterior scene with multiple shots, so enjoy. Let us start by selecting everything and press X to delete it. Hit number pad 7 for top view. Now, from Add, go to Empty and select Image. Go to the Empty settings, press the Open button. We are going to add 2 floor plans as images. Those images you can download from the link in the description. So, after hitting Open in the Empty setting, navigate to the Plans folder, and select the ground. Jump to the unit setting and change the length unit to centimeters. It is easier for me to work with it rather than meters. Back to scaling up the plan, so, the doors on the plan are 90 centimeters on length. After that being said, make a cube, press N to open transformation, change the length to 90. Now scale the plan up until it seems fit. So as you see we end up with something near 30. To start modeling the walls, make a new collection. Select the cursor and place it in one of the corners. Press Shift A and from Mesh add a cube. So, usually exterior walls are at least 25 centimeters in thickness due to heat and moisture insulators, but I am going with 20 in thickness and a 400 in height. Move the cube on their z-axis by 200 to level it with the ground. While selecting the cube, press Tab to enter edit mode, press 3 for face selection, select one face as you see and press G to move it along the axis it faces. After that, extrude the part when you reach the corner by 20. This made another part for us that will become a wall when we extrude it. So, this same process will repeat to make the walls, moving with the G, extrude by pressing E and a length of 20 centimeters. So, in this final part we need to close the wall, but the faces are not exactly facing each other. We need to snap one of them to the other. For that, from the top, open the snap and put it on vertex, then turn it on. Now, from the top view, press Z and enter wireframe mode. What we have is 2 sets of vertices that we need to align. Select them as shown. press G and snap selection to the opposite set of vertices. After that, select the faces and with the right mouse button press Bridge Faces. Now we have finished the ground floor level. To the first floor, add another empty as image. Press Open in the empty setting and add the second image named Plan 01. Move it over the ground floor. You can also turn down the opacity on the image from the empty setting. We are going to align the walls for both floor with the snap once we finish. So, before starting with the walls, hide the ground floor from the eye icon or simply press H, and you know the drill. From Add go to Mesh and add a cube in one corner, press N and change the length to 20 and height to 500 centimeters, move it to the first floor level, and press Tab to enter edit mode. We are going to repeat the process that we did earlier. Select a face, move it along one axis by pressing G, then the axis it faces, press E, then 20 to extrude it once you reach corners. Finish with the wall. Before bridge the last two faces, make sure to align the vertices using snap. After that press Alt H to unhide all. So, to align the walls on both floor, select same corner on both floor to snap it. Now here for some reason I had to enter edit mode in the first floor and press A to select everything, then with the G snap it to the ground floor as shown. After that, still the walls need to be aligned, and I am going to snap them to each other, on vertices level wall by wall. Make sure to check all parts. Now as you see the right wall has some shift in the middle, so I just snap it to top corner and fix the middle part as you see. Now, to add the front door stairs, we will model it from a cube. Put the cursor near the stair area, 30 centimeters in wide, and 15 in the height. Snap the cube to the wall, and move it on place. Now in the edit mode, just move it along the plan as shown. Extrude it by 30 in the corner. Press the comma in the number pad to zoom into selection. Close the area inside with extrude. Now select the top face and press I to insert it by 30. You also might need to go back to object mode and hit Ctrl A and apply transformation. After that, we don't need those inner edges from the inset, so snap them to corner. Then extrude the top faces by 15 two times, holding Ctrl with the left mouse button for deselect. Once you've finished, go to wireframe mode and check if something overlaps. Now, while in the edit mode, press Ctrl R to add loop cuts. It will come in default in the middle. I did move them top by 5, repeat that on the other stairs. Select the faces as you see and with the right mouse button hit extrude faces along normal. Fix the corner vertices by snapping them on both axes. After that, select the edges and hit Ctrl B to bevel. This will chamfer the edges and add smoothness to the mesh. To start closing the main building, I am adding a loop cut to the first floor and extrude the bottom part that need to be closed. So here, the recorder somehow missed me adding a loop cut to the left wall on the first floor and just snapped it to that corner. So let us start making the ceiling. Select the faces on one wall as shown and extrude them by 120 centimeters. The opposite side will be extruded by 40. Then both sides will again extrude by 20. Now, select the faces in front of each other and bridge them. Press number pad 1 to go front view. Now as you see, the corner for the ceiling need to be fixed, so in the wireframe mode, select the vertices and move them. Make sure to hold Shift while moving for accurate movement. Now in the other side, we need to make a ceiling, but we only have one wall here, so make another as shown. Extrude an interior wall to bridge it to the one on the right side of the building, so extrude it and snap it to the middle part on the wall. Now what you see me do is I extrude both walls to top by 40, then deselect the one in the middle of the building and move the remaining selection to top by 80. Again select the top faces and extrude them by 20. This will be the ceiling thickness. Hold Shift for multiple selection. Now, I did want to bridge them in one take, but the wall in the right has more faces than the other one, so it end up messy as you see. So I added 2 loop cuts and snapped them to the other wall to match the faces. Then I selected the faces and bridged them. Still the final part has nothing in front of it to bridge with, so just extrude it and snap it to the top corner. Then, in the front view, we need to fix the ceiling corners. It might take some times. Also, I did extrude it as shown to the right side by 120. And to the front in the same 120 distance, so, to close the walls with the ceiling, simply extrude them to top and fix the corner that pops. I did add another loop cut to the first floor to close the middle area in the right wall as shown. And the left ceiling part need to extend more to inside. And to finish closing the roof, I am going to extrude the walls from different sides as you see and snap them together. Once I finish closing, I did go back to front view to fix the ceiling. I also added a plane to be reference for vertices to line them. And, I did extrude the faces to inside by 40, so take your time while fixing them. So, after you finished with this side, go to the other one, extrude the inner faces by 40, and move the faces down as shown. The front and left faces, select them and hit extrude along normal with 120 in distance, extrude the corner to close it. Now in the front view, fix it as before. You can use a plane as reference also, so just make it something in line. After that, to extrude a balcony, add a loop cut and snap it to the inner one. Select the faces and extrude them to outside, snap them to the stairs below to cover the front door area. Now in the back side of the building, a deck or terrace is needed. Simply add a cube, and scale it to a height of 40. Snap it to the corner, move it up on the Z-axis by 75, and in the edit mode make it cover the area needed. I also added a loop cut to extrude the remaining part, you see. The balcony also is an extrusion from first floor walls. Extrude it on the first floor plan image for now. After that, to the railing, starting with the roof railing, this left part will be solid wall 120 in height. I did add a loop cut to make area between the ceiling and the roof wall, this area 240 in length. The remaining wall faces on the right side, I extruded them by 120. Now back to the part near the right ceiling. Select the faces and extrude them by 20 to top, and then again, extrude the resulted face to outside by 120, which I found big, so I just moved it back a bit so it end up something like 80. The top face I extruded by 8 and then, again select the faces you see and with the right mouse button hit extrude along normal. Also fix the corner as shown. Once I finished with that, I did select both floor, the terrace and the stairs in front and join them all by hitting Ctrl J. Now in this part on the right wall, I added 6 loop cuts on each floor wall. Selected the faces as you see and inset them by 5, then extrude them by 10 to inside. Those highlighted faces will be glass, so it is easy now to assign material to them. Go to Material Settings, add 2 material. First one will be default for mesh as all, the second one we will assign the highlighted faces to it and name it glass. You can add material by pressing the plus button. This will make the shading part easier for us. I also notice that this part is too low to the ground, so I extrude it to top by 20. And extrude it down in the top also by 20. Now back to the railing in the back side of the building roof, add a cube, scale it down. I am using a cube and not a cylinder here for least amount of poly count in this project, and also it won't matter from far shots, so I just scale the cube down with shortcut S. Numbers are on the right, a 7 cm looks fine to me. Now go to Edit mode, select one face and snap it to the other corner as shown, then extrude it by 7, repeat the process along the walls. Move, snap, extrude, this is the motto of this part. Now you have the top part of the railing, align it to mid-wall. After that, add another cube, make it smaller, 3.5 centimeters is fine, place it under the top railing part and in mid-wall also, go to Edit mode, and repeat the same process. We also need a supporting parts in the corners, so I made a cube 10 in width, 120 in height, and copied it to 3 corners as shown. To copy objects, simply select them and press Shift-D to make a copy. Press an axis like Z will move the copy on that axis. After that, if you hit Shift-R, the copy process will repeat in the same distance. Then once I finished copying all the parts, I did join the similar one. Now to the front balcony railing, same thing, same process. Move, snap and extrude. Copy objects with Shift-D, join selected objects with Ctrl-J. I also added a supporting column under the balcony, a 40 on width and 400 on height, snapped it to ground level. After that, I added 2 loop cuts on each face of the column, and also another 2 loop cuts on top and bottom as shown with distance of 10. While holding Shift, I selected all the faces I want. Get out from edit mode to apply scale and back, hit I to inset those faces by 2, then extrude them to inside along normal by 5. While those resulted faces are selected, go to Material Settings and assign them a different material. I did named it metal as you see. Now, before start adding windows to the walls, make two new collections. One would contain the windows mesh. The other one will be for booleans which we will hide later before render, so while in the boolean collection, add a cube on the front wall of the first floor, scale it as you see. You can copy the exact parameters on the right, and make a copy of it so we have two windows. Now select the two cubes and join them, so we need to go to Walls Modifiers setting and add a Boolean modifier. Then in the Object section as you see select the two cubes that we joined earlier. Now to see the result, select the cubes and in the Viewport setting, change the display to wire. It should cut the walls as you see. Now this is the place for the windows, but we still do not have them. For that, while selecting the wired cubes, press Shift-D to make a copy in place. Move the copy to the window collection and change back display to texture. So to model the window, select the cube in the window collection, delete all faces but the ones in front, snap them to the wall as shown, press Ctrl-A to apply scale if needed. Now before start, pay attention to the numbers. While in the edit mode, press I and inset the faces by 10. Then extrude them to inside by 5. Again inset by 2 this time, extrude by 2 to inside. And finally inset by 2. This will be the metal contacting with the glass. The remains highlighted parts is the glass, so now as before assign to the glass a different material from the metal frame. And this is one window. Same process is needed with slightly different thing that we might do. So here I did align the top of the window with the ceiling, then again added to the wall another Boolean modifier. Made a copy to model the window with it, and repeat the inset extrusion process. and once finished assign the same material we used in the first window. Now to the garage door. I am adding loop cuts to the ground floor walls and just try to make it as wide as possible. Snap the left loop cut to the column. Another loop cut is needed to set the height to 300. And bridge those faces shown. Now, we will model the door from a cube, snap it to corner and scale it to fit. Then in the edit mode, select the two main faces of the cube, inset them by 10 or 15, then add loop cut to make large glass panels out of them. Then, select the faces as you see, extrude them to inside by 2. Then inset individual faces by 5. And again extrude them along normal by 2. And finally inset them by 2, in the material settings, assign material to both the glass and the door frame, and we finish with the garage door for now. Back to adding windows, you can continue with the same process earlier, or you can simply copy both the window and the Boolean cube. See what works for you the best. We will do both methods. So, here we had a problem with the Boolean. Simply moving down the Boolean cube solved it. Just need to pay attention to intersecting faces and edges. I also did select all the windows that we made so far and move them to inside by 5. On the left side I did make a window and copied it to ground level. So let us take a break from windows, go to the back side of the building, copy the railing from the roof to the balcony and the terrace. I am copying it part by part. The railing is 120 centimeters height, same thing with the supporting part in the railing, copy it and place it where it should. Delete the faces that you do not need. When you finish with the balcony, select all the railing parts and copy it down to terrace level. I did here move it to outside by 20. What I am doing here is adding some kind of wood covering over the balcony, simple wood bars, so add a cube, 20 centimeters in width, 400 on length and place it as you see. then press Shift D to make a copy and move it along the axis, which is in my case the x-axis. Now pressing Shift R will repeat the process. After you make the copies, select them all and press Ctrl J. This will join them in one object. After that, add a slightly bigger bar in the opposite axis, scale it up as you see. Also, to support this wood covering, I am going to add a column, 60 in width, and snap it to ground level. Here you see me deleting one part of the railing supporters, so you can delete the supporting railing parts in both the back balcony and the terrace because we are going to make a copy from the column. I also did extrude the balcony to outside and snapped it to the terrace. Adding some loop cuts to the column to edit it and make some modeling in it. Six sets of loop cuts, 5 centimeters is the distance between them. I did also extrude the top face by 5, and then, again extrude the resulted faces by 5 along normal. So here, I tried to bevel those edges using the shortcut, but it wouldn't work for some reason, so if you encounter same problem, I did just select the bevel icon and it works. And finally, before make a copy of the column, select the faces as you see, extrude them along normal to inside by 5. and in the material settings, assign to those inner faces a different material. Then once you've finished, make a copy from the column and move it to the other side, and that's it for this part. Stay tuned for the next one. Goodbye.